Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bourbon Bites Whiskey Reviews with a Gaming Twist. I'm your host, Clifton, and welcome to another Thursday night live stream. Thank you all so much for tuning in. This will be my last Thursday night stream for a couple weeks because I have a vacation planned for the next couple of weeks, but I will be back early April. Lots of streams planned soon, but today I wanted to kind of revisit a whiskey that I have loved over the years, including one new to me addition, actually two new to me additions to their lineup. So I'm really excited to be revisiting Still Austin. You all saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. We're gonna be drinking through several of their whiskeys, mostly bourbon. But we also have a rye, which is new to me. We're also going to be doing a giveaway if you're watching live. We're going to do a Wheel of Whiskey giveaway at the end of the stream. Someone is going to win samples of all 5 of these bottles. So every $5 super chat is an entry, but we'll get to that more later. I want to say hello to a few folks here in the chat. I saw some people hanging out. I see Michael is here. He said, "Good evening, all you wonderful whiskey people. Hopefully I'll be back in Austin in July." I see the heat emoji. And can get out to see what Nancy picked. Absolutely. I visited a few years back. It's been about 2 or 3 years now, but I absolutely loved it. I can't wait to go back and see it again. Brandon's in the house. What's up? He said, "Evening, everyone. Are you excited for your trip?" Yes, I haven't started packing. I probably should, right? We're going to Europe for 2 weeks, and I have not started packing. But I did pick up a bottle that I'm bringing with me. I always like to have a room bottle when I travel. Like, just have something to come back to relax in the room, or maybe a little pregame a little before I go out. My room bottle is going to be Knob Creek 12. It's just a good old classic bourbon, 100 proof. I love it. My husband loves it. So really big fan of this one. That's going to be our room bottle. Of course, we might buy a few others while we're out there, but I bought that today just to have something for when we first got there. It's going to be a long travel day. Tomorrow night we fly out, do an overnight flight for 11 hours, land in London, take the train, get to the hotel. It's going to be a long day, but I'm looking forward to it. I definitely could use the break, but I could use some bourbon right now. Who else is here? I see Zover's here in the chat. What's up, Zover? Fred, Sugar Kitty, Whiskey Pear, Old Fashioned Ways. I think the first time seeing you in the chat. Welcome. Good to see you. Cheers to you as well. Sugar Kitty said managed to stay up late enough for once. That's good to hear. I promise I won't keep you too long, as usual, about an hour. And then we'll head over to the after party. You're always welcome there. For everyone on the Bike Club. Speaking of the Bike Club, you may notice some people already have their name on our Wheel of Whiskey, which is what we're going to use to pick our winners. So let's see if this works this time, because last time we had some issues with the Chrome tab. Let's see if this will pop up. Can y'all see that? So I decided to put up all people that are current members of our Bike Club, which is my new website. Basically replacing Patreon. I'm still doing Patreon. If you want to join there, you feel more comfortable there, that's fine. But I have a new website, bourbonbites.com. The link is in the description below. Anyone that joins the membership there gets their name on this wheel for free tonight. So if you guys want to join, make sure to let me know in the chat if you've joined. Any tier $2 and above, you're entered to the giveaway tonight. But also, if you want to get in on the giveaway, it's every $5 worth of super chat. So if you send $5, that's 1 entry. If you send $10, that's 2 entries, so on and so forth. Someone's going to get samples at the end of the night of all 5 of these whiskeys. So I'm very excited to get to that wheel, but I will keep that hidden for now. But yeah, I'm excited. Oh, I was like, what is this comment? I'm like, okay, it's because we watched Euro Trip last night, or last week for our monthly movies night, which is another Patreon/Bike Club perk. Euro Trip. Yeah, I was like, wow, that's very forward. Against My Odds, also new here. Cheers. Just finished putting in some fence post anchors and about a quarter-mile of fence. Wow, sounds like you need a drink. I mean, I would. That's a lot. But glad you got it done. Dang, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, pour yourself something good. I'm excited to get something poured for myself, so I'm going to start with the one that I actually have not had, as far as I know. I may have had it like at the distillery, just like a little tasting, or even maybe like at a festival, but I've not reviewed it here on the channel. And of course, this is their rye whiskey. It's called The Artist. Now I do have these little mini bottles. For whoever wants to give away, 2 of the whiskeys are going to come in these, and then 3 are going to come in 2-ounce sample bottles. So, but yes, this is The Artist straight rye whiskey, coming in at 99.6 proof. Yeah, the rye is relatively new for them. They've been doing bourbon for a while, but they are venturing out into rye. So I pulled up their website here just to see if I can find some info about it. Of course, their website is beautiful. If you have not checked it out, they really highlight the art that goes into these bottles. They all hire local artists for each label, which I think is really cool. This one is 100% Texas rye. So it's grown in Texas, still in Texas, and aged in Texas. So that's exciting. I don't know if we have an age statement on this one. It is a straight rye whiskey, so it means it's at least, I believe with rye it can be 2 years being straight rye whiskey. If anyone wants to correct me, I know with bourbon it's 3, I believe. Let me see if we can find some info on the age. Still Austin rye age. Let's see what can pop up. Okay. Basically, 2 years is the only known age of this, but they've been doing it for a while. It's at least 2 years old. Love all the Nancy Fix. Yes. So some info about Still Austin, if you're not aware. Like I said, distillery based in Austin, Texas. Nancy Fraley is their master blender. She's kind of put together a lot of their recipes, their blends. So really, I mean, if you not heard Nancy Fraley, she's one of the most legendary modern day people in the bourbon industry. So huge shout out to her. Also the team there, I think I put it in the, oh no, I put it on Instagram. Shoot, I thought I had it in front of me, but yeah, I knew Chris from the distillery. I actually had him on the channel a few years back, and had a great time. We tasted through their core lineup, but of course they've come a long way since then. So their master distiller's name is John Schrepel, Schrepel. He's their head distiller. Yeah, but Nancy Fraley's kind of been involved in their single barrel picks, their blends, all throughout their from the beginning. Fred said, remember, if it doesn't say age, then it's at least 4. So that's my understanding of bourbon. I think rye is actually not, they don't have that restriction. I think with rye, it has to be, if it's a straight rye whiskey, it has to be at least 2 years old. I could be wrong. Feel free to correct me. Legendary master blender, absolutely. Can't stay for long, but really like your vibe. And Joe from Independent Joe recommended your channel. I try to show support to everyone in this awesome and chill community. Well, thank you for that. Joe is a good friend of mine. I've been on his channel several times. Y'all, if y'all not subscribed to Independent Joe, go check him out. Great guy, great palate, great collection. Go check out Joe. Mother of Cigar Blend. That's good. That's a good one. Oh, speaking of which, wow, singing the praises. Nancy's here. She said, hey, everyone. Been trying to de-digitize lately, but couldn't help myself when I got the notice that you were doing this Still Austin episode. I've been working on this year's Red Corn Bottle and Bond release this week. That's awesome. Yeah, I had a sample of the Red Corn at the New Orleans Bourbon Festival last year. I was able to go to that and really, really enjoyed it. I don't have that in front of me tonight. I just was able to grab what was in my area. I'm in Southern California, Los Angeles area. But we got the rye, we got the bourbon, we got the Cask bourbon, single barrel bourbon, and the Bottle and Bond 6-year bourbon. So I'm very, very excited. But yes, thank you for stopping in. I totally get the disconnect thing. Listen, you don't have to stick around. Just your presence being here means a lot. So, yeah. I know, and here she is. I know I was not planning that as an introduction, but here we go. I joined the club so I can harass you on movie nights. Oh, well, Michael is the newest member of the Bite Club, meaning, Michael, your name is going on our wheel of whiskey that we will be spinning at the end of the stream. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to have you there, and it's a lot of fun, trust me. Cool. Well, like I said, super chats if you guys want to get into the sample set. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? So I'm going to start with the rye whiskey. So I'm going to... Oh, sorry, I was reading this. Had a filling fall out of my tooth yesterday, so I've been in pain all day. Oh, that sucks. I thought I was going to have to get a tooth pulled recently in the very, very back, but I think it just I like scratched the gum and it kind of like got swollen, but I'm so glad I kept the tooth. We'll see how it does. That was a few weeks back. All right, let's go ahead and pour the straight rye whiskey. Like I said, 100% rye, Texas grown, and almost 100 proof. I think 99.4 is what I said. Yeah, let's go ahead and try this. First time on the channel, so it's called The Artist. All right, so I'm starting with this one because everything else we're drinking is the bourbon. I want to go from the standard straight bourbon to the Bottle and Bond to the Cask Strength to the Cask Strength single barrel. That's going to be my journey. So, on a tangent, I hope you have a wonderful 2 weeks in Europe. Thank you. I am very excited. We're going to London, we're going to Amsterdam, and we're going to Paris. So I'm very excited. I've been before, my husband hasn't, so I'm very excited. Yeah, so the rye whiskey, like I said, have not had this on the channel before, but I love a good rye whiskey. I don't think I've ever had a Texas. I take that back. I have had some Balcones rye, but if you're a fan of Balcones, you know they have a very distinct flavor, a very Texas flavor, shall I say? The one thing I love about Still Austin is you can't. I mean this in a good way. You can't immediately tell that this is a Texas whiskey, and I think that's a good thing because Texas whiskey has a reputation until you've really delved into it and found that there is a lot of variety. When people hear Texas whiskey, they think of some of those really overcharred bourbons and ryes, which there's definitely people that enjoy that. But for me, if I'm looking for a good bourbon that's a representative of the state, I think Still Austin is it. It's unique, but it's very classic, very much what you'd expect from a bourbon, a rye, American whiskey. And that's why I've always been a fan of the distillery since I discovered it like three or 4 years ago. It's been a while. Fun fact: they also make a really good gin. We have it on our bar cart usually. It has like a bit of like a cumin flavor to it, so um, it makes gin and tonics a bit more interesting. It kind of livens them up a bit. On the nose of this, obviously 100% rye. It's very bright, very punchy with that mint essence. Again, it's not necessarily like grassy. You know, sometimes rye comes across as like a grassy, like a very grain forward, but this one's more of a subtle influence of the grain, which I like. Yeah, I mean, coming in at 100 proof for their standard release is exciting. I love to see that. Not just sticking with the basic 80 proof. They also have a cask strength version of this. Have not seen it in my area, but I'm going to keep an eye out. But yeah, love the nose. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Cheers, y'all, and thank y'all for tuning in. Mm, yeah, I mean, it's uniquely Texas. I feel like it's not what you would expect from a rye. I mean, y'all know I love rye. I love Indiana rye. I love Kentucky rye. But this has a very unique flavor. It has a almost it's like a bitter chocolate kind of note to it. That's not something I normally get on rye, but it has a bit of like a it's kind of like back of the tongue, under the tongue kind of flavor. Of course, that bright minty quality up front. But I love that the back end of this has a bit more depth to it. It's like a very it's a dark chocolate. It's not like a sweet chocolate, but a very like really bitter, like almost like a baker's chocolate. Combined with the mint, I'm getting a little bit of like peppermint patty kind of flavor. You know, I love that. Maybe less peppermint, maybe more of like a wintergreen. But that one, I will say, out of all the cocktails I make here at the house, one gin and tonics is one of our favorites. But old fashions and Manhattans. Actually, I prefer a Manhattan usually. I always use a rye whiskey for my Manhattan. It's just how I prefer it. Have not tried Still Austin rye and Manhattan, but I can just tell based on that flavor profile alone, first couple of sips of it, this would do incredible in a cocktail. One, it's got that proof. I don't like putting an 80 proof spirit in my cocktail. I listen. I like high proof. Sorry, 100 proof is exactly what I'm looking for a cocktail. And just the flavor, just I feel like it could be really amplified by a sweet vermouth. I can just see myself, mm, can see myself sipping on that and really just savoring the uniqueness of it. I think the rye, like I said, first time having it, but I'm impressed. I'm gonna have to grab a bottle. I just had the sample bottle right here, but I'm gonna have to go out and get a full size of that. I'm gonna keep an eye out for the cask strength rye. I really would love to see what this tastes like at cask strength. If it's this good at 100 proof, I think it's gonna be good at cask strength. Pricing depends on your area. I think Total Wine tends to carry most of Still Austin, at least in my area. I don't know if that's everywhere or for me, but Total Wine has this core range that I'm doing right now. Let me see if I can find the pricing. Again, may vary depending on your area, but for me in Southern California, the rye is about $42, which is absolutely fair for a 100 proof rye whiskey. I want to make sure I didn't miss some things in the chat. William Hall is here. What's up, William? Good to see you. Sure, he says, eat well in Amsterdam. London, the Brit Museum is a must. Absolutely. Paris, visit all the neighborhoods one at a time. We'll try our best. Um, Make sure to hit that like button. Oh, yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, if you guys are enjoying the stream or you're looking forward to seeing this fight, hit the thumbs up. If you're watching the replay, also hit the thumbs up. Leave a comment below what's your favorite Still Austin whiskey is. I'd love to hear for those of you that can maybe not make it live, but can tune in later. Fred said, just double check the legal docs. Rye does require an age statement if under 4 years. Okay, that's great. I didn't realize that. I don't know. Okay, so you're right. Absolutely. I just didn't read the bottle. I knew the 2 years was coming from something. I thought it was because it said straight rye whiskey, but it's actually aged at least 2 years. So, um, yeah. So at least two. We don't actually know. But I mean, it does not. I've always thought that rye drinks older, no matter how young it is, and I think it does not taste like a 2-year-old corn whiskey. That's the big thing for me. Old fashioned ways says I agree. I love higher proof cocktails. I prefer an old fashioned myself. Interesting. I would never have guessed that. Uh, Nancy says, "OMG, I love gin and tonics. I have to admit that I'm very traditional in my cocktail preferences. Me too. I mean, I do love a unique craft cocktail. In Los Angeles, we have so many cocktail bars. We have Death and Co. We have so many unique twists on things. I love that. But at home, like I'm very basic. I mean, obviously, I'm drinking whiskey or I'm drinking something simple. I'm a sucker for a rum and coke. I'm a sucker. I'm more of a rum and I like to use. I go back and forth between using a light rum and a dark rum. I do Coke Zero. That's just what I prefer. But yeah, that's like my go to, just like easy to drink cocktail, gin and tonic when I'm wanting something a little bit more savor, and of course a whiskey cocktail pretty much any time because I love whiskey. Greetings from the Bourbon Hall crew. Awesome. I actually am not familiar with Bourbon Hall, but I'll have to check them out. I assume they sent you my way. That's awesome. Good to hear. I'll have to check them out. Awesome. Thank you so much, Tom, for tuning in. Welcome to a Thursday night. I was gonna say shit show. It's actually I enjoy these live streams so much. So, but thank you so much for stopping in. Hope to see you back soon. Oh, there we go. Nancy says it's usually much closer to 3 years old. In fact, John and I don't like to blend anything younger than 2 years, 10 months. Nice. Yeah, someone was asking earlier because it said straight rye whiskey. I was thinking that it was different than the rules with the straight bourbon whiskey, but I didn't realize there was an age statement on the back. So that's what the questions about the age were. But very good to know. Yeah, I was gonna say like I've the first rye whiskeys that I really loved, I fell in love with. I'm not going to name the brand because it's been several years and I don't know if they're still good, so I don't want to credit them. Was a 3-year-old rye whiskey. The first one that was like, oh my god, I like rye whiskey was a 3-year-old. So this being in that same realm, it explains why I like it so much. Old Fashioned Way said they just picked up the new distillery rye, but missed out on Nancy's pick for the month. I know. I wish I could make it out there. I need to go back to Austin. Absolutely love the city, and I've only been there once. It's definitely not what I expected Texas to be like. Not that I think all of Texas is going to be like Austin, but I really liked Austin. Coming from Los Angeles, I think Austin's such a fun city. All right, so we got the rye. Let's go ahead and move on to the bourbon. Like I said, we have 4 different bourbons here. We're going to start with just the straight bourbon whiskey. This one is called the Musician. These little bottles, you never know if they're going to focus. I think it's because I have a. You can see that one back there. Come on. There we go. There we go. Still Austin, the Musician straight bourbon whiskey coming in at 49.2% ABV, 98.4. Again, highlighting the local artists that did the art for their bottles. This one also says age at least 2 years as well. But as Nancy just revealed, they don't like to blend anything less than 2 years, 10 months. So closer to 3. We're going to go up in age here and proof. So go with the straight bourbon whiskey. Again, I've been a fan of this one for several years. Let me see if I can pull up their info on just the bourbon. Let's see what they have to say here. I love the website. It's so fun. It's if you just check out their website, it's so fun just scrolling around and discovering new parts of it. Their mash bill for the bourbon is actually a 4. Oh no, sorry, not. I looked at it wrong. It's a 3-grain bourbon, 70% corn, 25% rye, and 5% malted barley, all from Texas. Again, they're sticking with local grains, which I think is such a interesting thing. I wish more people would do that. I would love to see spirits from every state use local grains. I think that'd be so fun to discover like what differences there are in just the flavor profile based on that alone, and climate, and lots of other things that go into whiskey. You guys know that there's a lot more involved, but I think that's really special, and I think that's why when I said that the price, it justifies it to me because it's something unique. It's something you can only make in Texas. By the way, price on that one is also $43 here in Southern California. Like it might vary in your area, but I think absolutely is a fair price for the craft that goes into this whiskey. go and give it a nose. Mm, nice. I mean, as much as I said the other one was like a dark chocolate, on the nose, this is a little bit of like a milk chocolate. Yeah. I mean, it's sweeter for sure, which is, to be expected. I think a lot of just corn whiskey in general, or bourbon in general, is going to smell sweeter, especially when it's younger. There's a bit of a spice. I can't quite place it. Nothing too like overly complex or anything. It's very much a bit of like a reminds me of like a pie crust or something. Yeah, a bit of like a pie crust chocolate. I mean, what is that? What is that chocolate pie? It's like chocolate pudding and like meringue. I forget. I've only had it a few times, but that's what my mind is drawn towards with the smell of this. Yeah, just like a really good sweet dessert. Let's go for a taste. Cheers. Hmm. Quite a bit richer than the nose let on. I mean, I'm still in the pie territory. I'm still in that realm of like baked dessert. To me, this one is like a thicker. I mean, this honestly reminds me of like a pecan pie. I say pecan pie. I'm from South Carolina. I'm sorry. A pecan pie, pecan pie, whatever you want to call it. It has that heftiness. Like when you're eating that, like the just the way the sugar presents itself in that combined with the peanuts or sorry, the pecans, um, is really what this first impression of this whiskey gives me. Again, so sweet. Second sip, it's leaning more towards the flavors that I would expect from a bourbon. But first sip, I was all in that dessert. Maybe because I was still thinking of the chocolate pie, chocolate mousse pie. Absolutely. Nancy says, being from the South originally, chocolate pie was a very common dessert when I was growing up. See, I think I've only had it. I'm pretty sure I had it when I was in Kentucky a few years back. It had like a special name in Kentucky. My grandma probably made it. Honestly, I grew up in a very Southern family. I'm assuming I probably had it as a kid. But something about the smell of that triggered that memory in me. Yeah. I'm really excited to see where this goes in the flight tonight compared to the bottled and bond, the cast strength, and the single barrel. By the way, for those curious about the single barrel, unfortunately, it's not a Nancy pick, but it is a Total Wine and More pick. Just grabbed this yesterday, actually. We'll get to this in the end. We're gonna save that for the end. We're gonna work our way up to it. So I'll show you a clearer picture later. Independent Joe in the chat. What's up, Joe? We were just giving you a shout out earlier, actually. Some folks said that you sent them over, so I'm really appreciate that, man. Hope you were doing well. Us Pennsylvania Germans have something called funny cake, but that wouldn't recognize you. Pie crust, but like marble cake in it, liquid bottle like a shoe fly, but chocolate instead of molasses. That is very confusing. I don't exactly know what you're going for there, but I'm sure it's good. It sounds delicious. It does. Michael says the barbecue whiskey bars and distilleries in Austin area are plentiful and awesome. So many good choices. Only bad thing hot is I'm assuming that's balls in summer and cold in the winter for a NorCal kid like me. Well, listen. I'm from South Carolina. I'm very used to hot and humid. Love living in Los Angeles where we don't have to face any of that. But yeah, I'm down for that. I think when I went, it was in like September, October, which I think is a beautiful time to visit. Yeah, I'll definitely have to be back soon. All right, so we're gonna move on. We got the straight bourbon whiskey. I'm gonna keep coming back to it here. I want to work my way up to these three other bottles we have tonight. We have the Bottle and Bond, which is a 6-year-old release. We have the Cask Strength, and we have the Single Barrel Cask Strength from Total Wine. So my guess, in terms of order, it always depends on like what people recommend. For me, the order, I think I'm gonna go with the Bottle and Bond next because it's similar proof to the bourbon. Like I said, the bourbon came in at 98.4 proof. Bottle and Bond is coming in at 100 proof, obviously, with Bottle and Bond. I'm gonna see what I can pull up here on the website about this one. I've actually never had this one before. It's not a distillery exclusive. It's under the Bottle and Bond category. They have like 4 different releases of that, by the way. They have a blue corn bourbon, which Nancy was just talking about, a red corn bourbon, and a straight rye whiskey. And there's a 4-year rye whiskey and a 6-year rye whiskey. So this is the 6-year. Let's pull this up on their website. Make sure I have the right info here. Oh, sorry. 4-year straight rye whiskey bottle and bond. 6-year bourbon bottle and bond. That was the difference. Mash bill, exact same. 70% white corn, 25% rye, 5% malted barley. aged at least 6 years. So let's see what an additional 3-ish years does to this bourbon. Excited to give it a try. Fresh crack for me. Very large pour. It's fine. I have an after party to drink through. Yeah, so I mean there's nothing really that makes this different other than the fact that it's bottle and bond. If you're new to the channel, maybe just do a quick Google search to see bottle and bond, like what it means. There are a lot of rules that make whiskey bottle and bond, but I think the most basic of it is they're 100 proof always, at least 4 years old, aged in a or distilled in a single distilling season. And there's so many specific things. Like I said, I don't want to misquote things. Google bottle and bond, a certified bonded warehouse, all that fun stuff. Basically, Bottle and Bond Act was invented to prevent people from putting some sketchy stuff in whiskey, which used to happen in the old days. So I think I've done a whole Bottle and Bond episode on the channel before. So search my channel for it and get the full details because I don't remember it on the spot right now. Nancy says, as an FYI, the Nancy's picks are very close to now being 7 years old. This summer we'll finally see 7-year-old releases. Oh, I'm assuming those are distillery only. Oh man, maybe I need to find out when those releases are coming out and make a trip down. That's really exciting. 7 years. Like I said, I've been a fan of Still Austin for years now. I think their core lineup even several years ago was good. I'm so excited to try it now older. Like I said, this is the oldest Still Austin I think I've had. The 6-year bottle and bond. Is this a new streaming format? No, it's actually just my normal one. I actually just forgot to change my color to my normal color. This was my this was my St. Patrick's Day color. But no, same StreamYard. StreamYard's where it's at here. All right, we just poured the bottle and bond bourbon. Let's go ahead and give it a nose, see how it's different. Oh, yeah. I mean, first of all, you can immediately tell that there's more age on this. To me, it has that. Oh, I mean, it still kind of reminds me of the pie crust, but it's more of a graham cracker. I don't know. Is there even a difference between pie crust and graham cracker? But to me, this one is but a bit of a cinnamon sugar graham cracker, but with a backbone of a really nice oak. I mean, y'all know I love some heavily oaked bourbons. Some of my favorite. I mean, I just told y'all that my travel bottle that I'm bringing to Europe is my Knob Creek 12. Y'all know I love an oak bomb of a bourbon. But this is kind of reminding me of those characteristics that I really like. Not overly charred or overly I don't know how to put it. It's not like a bitter oak on the nose, at least. It actually meshes very well with that graham cracker note, almost a little bit of marshmallow. I got milk chocolate on the bourbon, and then graham cracker and marshmallow. Maybe I'll blend them together and make a s'mores whiskey. I don't know. Yeah, love the nose on that. Let's go and go for a taste. Cheers. Palate is actually very similar to the nose. Again, that oak flavor is not coming across as bitter. As I not that I worried, but I just kind of thought maybe it would come across a little bit tannic on the palate. It actually doesn't. It actually complements that sweeter. Again, it's still graham cracker for me. This one feels almost like, I don't want to say it feels like a lighter body, but there's a brightness to this that wasn't on the standard bourbon. I don't know if that's coming from the fact that it's older or just where it was aged. I need another sip of that. That was surprisingly different than I expected. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. I think it's definitely a evolution if you're looking for more of an older bourbon. To me, it's a little bit harder to pull out specific flavor profiles on this one. Sorry. A little bit harder for me than the standard bourbon. To me, the bourbon to me was jumping with specific notes. This one I'm gonna have to spend some more time with. Like I said, it's a fresh crack. I do enjoy it. Oops! Oh my gosh, I'm gonna spill everything tonight. Um, Pricing wise, by the way, on the bottle and bond, it comes in at $79.99. So a good bit up, but it's again close to twice the age, and definitely more in your realm of a traditional bourbon. Like you say, a lot of bourbons we're used to are in the 5 to 9 year range. So this was definitely more in line with those flavors, but I'm looking forward to diving into this one a bit more, seeing what I can dig out there because it's good. I like it. I just feel like the straight bourbon itself is so good that I'm like, is this? Do I think it's twice as good? I don't know. We'll come back through at the end. All right, we got to move to Cask. We got to keep it moving. So Before oh, you're talking gin, nice. Graham cracker crust is delicious, but yes, not all crusts are graham. Whiskey Pear said is graham cracker is a whole grain and was invented with a very specific purpose. S'mores, maybe. Now Creek Truff would be a great hotel room port. That's it's just our standard. I mean, I think it's such an easy one to just relax, wind down with, or pregame. You can do like both. You can wind down with it, and you can also like pregame your night with it. So I'm excited. Can we see? Please see the bottle by the top. I'm thinking it's the high rye. Oh, absolutely. Did I not show the bottle on this one? I'm sorry. I probably skipped over because we went from the minis to the full size. Yes, of course. This is the Still Austin Bottle and Bond. Of course, love that art there. That's so awesome. Age 6 year old, 100 proof. He said based on the top, I'm thinking it's the high rye. Oh, that's not going to show up. It just says bottled and bond on the top. It's a bit of a yellow label with the symbol there. No, it says on the website the rye is the same as the rye in the regular mash bill. Unless I'm wrong, this is the fall 2024 release of it, by the way. Yeah, so I like it. I want to explore it more and spend some more time with it. Do I have the 5-year-old versions of the bottled bonds? Unfortunately, I don't. Like I said, this is the first chance I've had to buy a bottled and bond from you guys or from Still Austin. I'd love to. I wonder, curious to see how they would compare, especially because you're apparently working on like a 7 year. I mean, I can imagine doing a 5, 6, and 7. That's such a fun thing. I wonder if there's maybe you know how like they have the. I mean, some of you may have seen that Still Austin does like a set that has like their rye, their bourbon, and their cask strength. I would love to see a bottle and bond set that has all the bottle and bonds, either the different years or the different grains, the red corn, the blue corn, the rye, and the bourbon. I would absolutely buy the heck out of that set, and I would do a whole other stream about Still Austin. That'd be a lot of fun. Michael said I can check the Still Austin Distillery for you when I go in July, and Mule Distillery only bottle for you. I'll be in SoCal at the end of August to see my son at UC Irvine Shakespeare Festival. Oh, well, hey, stay in touch. Follow me on Discord or Discord's where I'm most active, but shoot me a message on Instagram. That sounds awesome. I'd absolutely love to meet up, and I would actually love a distillery only bottle. That sounds amazing. Cheers to you. Thank you for that. What did I see? Someone, Steven Shelfsip. Did I miss someone come in? I'm sorry. I was just chatting. I'm looking for the person. Oh, there we are. There we are. Cheers. Oh, it's Sugar Kitty's birthday. Oh my gosh. Happy birthday, Sugar Kitty. Well, no wonder you're awake. Hopefully you're drinking something good. But awesome. So many new folks. Thank y'all for tuning in. If y'all want to come back, I'm here every Thursday, except for the next 2 weeks because I'm on vacation. Same time, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. But I'm not going anywhere. We got 2 more bourbons to drink, and then I'll go to our after party. Next up is the Cask Strength Bourbon. So let me pull up the page here. Just have some info to reference while we are drinking. Cask Strength Bourbon. They also have a Cask Strength Rye, which I mentioned earlier. I've not had a chance to try it, but I'm sure I would love it. All right, Cask Strength Bourbon. Let's show you the bottle. Same label as the regular bourbon, coming in more of a dark, obviously like a darker color label. Cask Strength Bourbon. This one is, let's see, focus. Come on. There we go. 58%, 116 proof. 100% Texas grown grain. Mash bill's the same, 70% corn, 25 rye, 5% malted barley. Yeah, Cask Strength. Y'all know I love some high proof whiskey, so let's get it open. By the way, what do y'all think of the hat? Some new merch on my website, bourbonbites.com, which is the same place you can join the Bite Club. Yeah, I have some cool merch there. If you are a member of the Bite Club, by the way, you get a 15% discount on all merch. So, only through the end of March, though. So, if you guys want to get in on that, please join. Reminder, we're doing a giveaway at the end of the stream tonight. Someone's going to win samples of all 5 of these whiskeys, including the rye, the bourbon, the bottle and bond, the barrel proof, and the single barrel cask strength. So, right now we have all the folks. We also need to add, we had the newest member join us, Michael. Michael, your name is going on. Why did I put Wheel of Whiskey? That's literally, why did I write that? All right, Michael. All right, so we got the wheel here. We're going to be adding people to it. And like I said, every $5 super chat is an entry. Of course, your support just really means the world to me. If you join the Bite Club, even at the $2 tier, you get an entry as well. So make sure to message me if you guys are joining that on bourbonbites.com. Like I said, I got notified that, oh, you can't see that. Notified that Michael just became a member earlier tonight. Thank you so much, Michael. There you go. Just became a Bourbon Bites member. Cheers to you. All right, let's go and move to the cask strength bourbon. Like I said, 116 proof. Only thing that's different, I'm assuming age is about the same. Oh, birthday's next week, Sugar Kitty. Sorry, I just saw that. Okay, next week. Age at least 2 years, so they all have the same age statement. We're gonna assume at least 2 years, 10 months. Let's go to nose the cask strength. Interesting. Okay, it almost reminds me even more of the bottle and bond. Let me nose back through. Let me go to the bottle and bond real quick. Little bit brighter, but these are very similar notes. I almost wonder if they're maybe a little bit closer in age. This cask strength and this bottle and bond. So that oak note is shining through on this one. That same one that was shown through on the bottle and bond. By the way, price the same. It's the same as the bottle and bond. This one comes in at, well, the single barrel is $80. Actually, I'm sorry, I misspoke. The single barrel, which we'll get to next, is $79.99. This one's only $54.99, so it's only about $12 more than the regular bourbon, just a cask strength. That's a really good deal. I love that. It's always fun to try something at cask strength versus standard, but I will say the price and the I can just feel like I can tell that this is older whiskey. Smells delicious. Let me go back to selling the regular standard straight bourbon whiskey. Yeah, this one's just it's sweeter. It's more corn. It's more of that pecan pie filling, which is a delicious note, by the way. But this cask strength, it's definitely coming in richer, coming in with more of that oak flavor. Maybe even the graham cracker. Hard to tell. Let's go for a taste. Cheers. Hmm. Oh wow. Oh, that's my favorite bourbon so far that we've had. I mean, the flavors that come out of that are kind of what I have said that are uniquely still Austin. It doesn't taste like a Kentucky bourbon, but it's in that same realm. To me, it's more. It's so hard to narrow down what makes it unique. It tastes more honestly like an Indiana bourbon, which I do love. Y'all know I love Indiana bourbon. It's kind of in that same like flavor profile. It definitely tastes different than what you would expect from a standard major big five whatever distillery in Kentucky. This one, it it has some like it's like weirdly feels like influenced by Irish. Maybe I've just been drinking a lot of Irish whiskey because it's St. Patrick's Day last weekend. But there's almost that shortbread cookie note on this that's really good. And I don't know if that's a still Austin flavor or it's just what I'm getting on it tonight. But it's I mean this is reminding me so much of like if I can imagine a Irish whiskey aged in a new charred oak. This is kind of and aged in Texas. This is kind of what I would think it would be like. Mm. They do have another bottle and bond release, which is 100% Texas rye. I believe that one is 70% white corn, 25% rye, and 5% malted barley. Yes, I think that's what I said. If I misspoke, sorry. What are we sipping on tonight? Are you asking me or someone else? I am sipping on Still Austin. Whiskey Pear in the chat. What's up? Good to see you, man. Hope you are doing amazing. Thank you so much for your super chat. You are now entered for 2 entries on the giveaway. Like I said, I'm giving away samples of every single one we're trying tonight. 2-ounce samples, 5 different samples. Every $5 is an entry. We're going to be spending that in about 8 minutes. So if you want to get in, now's your chance. Like I said, you can also join bourbonbites.com and get a free entry. Not free. You can get an entry with your membership. Hope to see you all on Bourbon Halls live on Sunday. I'll be managing the back end as usual. Awesome. Well, I am definitely going to check it out right after this stream. I will not be able to watch this Sunday because I'll be traveling, but definitely check it out and subscribe. Love me some Coke Zero. I was talking about that earlier. All right. Cask Strength. Wow. My favorite of the night. I mean, the rye was good. I would love to try the rye at Cask Strength, but the Cask Strength bourbon it checks all my boxes. It's unique. It's sweet. It's good. I don't even want this in a cocktail. I just want this neat. Mm. You know when a bourbon makes you go on like your second or third sip? It's good. Yeah. Reminds me of everything I love about Still Austin. But now we got one more. One more that might just show that one up. Because that's not only is it their bourbon, not only is it cask strength, but it's a single barrel cask strength. Unfortunately, not a Nancy pick, but we do have a limited release here. This is the Total Wine and More single barrel select, coming in at 116 proof. Same proof we just had of the cask strength. Let's see if we have some info on the back. It says it's basically the same label. It just says it's at least 2 years old. I wish that maybe Total Wine would have more info on this. I'm gonna check their website real quick to see if we have maybe some more info. We don't always have that, but it's always worth a check. This one is $79.99, so the same price as the bottle and bond. No, it just says carefully selected charred American oak barrels that display the best traits of Texas whiskey at 116 proof. So we don't get any special info. You know, sometimes when you do a pick, you get a little more info as terms of age, warehouse location, and all that. We don't have that. Whoa, I'm blurry. Have I been blurry for the whole time? I need to move that bottle. Sorry. I've been looking at. I've been trying to read while I'm talking. Nancy says that's a great analysis of the cask strength. We really take pains to make sure that it isn't over oaked. Yeah, I think that would be very, especially in Texas, that would be very easy to do. I think that it's something that is a flavor that's definitely an acquired taste with that over oaked flavor that comes out of a lot of Texas whiskey. Some of it I do like. I don't typically prefer it. But yeah, I can imagine. Like you gotta. There's a reason that it's not as old as some other Kentucky bourbons. You can't age it as long. If you know the weather in Texas, it is as extreme as it gets, at least in the U.S. You got extreme heats, you got some colds. I mean, yeah, it's absolutely. Someone said earlier in the chat, they said like, "Oh, I love Austin, but it's really hot during the summer and really cold during the winter." Well, guess what loves that? Bourbon loves that. So let's go ahead and pour the single barrel cask strength from Total Wine. And thank you for the reminder, old fashioned ways to hit the thumbs up. Yes, it does. You guys, and feel free to come back and leave a comment. Let's see you this video inspired you to go check out Still Austin. I'd love to hear what you think. Please come back. I read every comment on the channel, read every message that I get on here or Instagram or wherever. So appreciate you guys so much. Steven Scone says, only Still Austin I ran across is a single barrel that I really like, not distributed in Alabama. Gotcha. Okay, yeah, like I said, I can find most of mine in Total Wine here in Southern California. It just kind of depends on the area, but it's interesting that in Alabama they don't have more availability. I mean, it's the South. I feel like you should be celebrating Southern spirits. I know I would. All right. This is the cask strength store pick from Total Wine. I put my order out of order, so let me make sure that's straight. All right. On the nose, not too different from what we're getting on the cask strength. Actually, let me just. I worry about the fact that I switched the bottles, and I want to make sure I didn't pour the wrong one. So we're gonna pour again, just in case. I want to make sure I didn't mess myself up by moving the bottles. Okay, this is for sure the single barrel cask strength. Let's give it a nose. Yeah, I was right the first time. It's the same. But this one, there's a different dark note, not the oak, not the chocolate. There's something else here. This is definitely unique on the nose. It's a rich, almost like an earthy quality, but not like mossy. I've got mossy on some bourbons. It's earthy in a maybe savory way. Okay, now this has got me curious now. The single barrel. It's still sweet. I mean, it's still very much in the realm of the cask strength. I would say it's about 80% the same as the cask strength on the nose alone. But on there's something deeper there. A little bit richer, a little darker. I'm thinking earthy, but let me go for a taste and let me see if maybe I pull out something else. Cheers, y'all. There are some nuances there. And I think that's kind of what single barrels are all about, right? It's not that it's so wildly different flavor profile than the standard cask strength, but there are some elements to it that kind of are unique to it compared to kind of what the blend is. I like it a lot. Don't get me wrong, but to me, this particular single barrel for Total Wine isn't that different from the cask strength, the regular cask strength. So for me, the price point, this one coming in at $79.99, this one coming in at $54, I said. This particular single barrel, I would absolutely grab the cask strength over it. I do think there is an improvement with the single barrel. I just don't think that this particular one is kind of blowing my mind the way that the cask strength did for the price. Now, again, this is the only single barrel I've had of it. Actually, no, that's a lie. I have had a single barrel cask strength pick that was a New Orleans Bourbon Festival pick that I had last year. Blew my mind. Delicious. One of the best whiskeys I'd had all year. I think it actually, I don't know if it made my top whiskey of the year or my top 10 whiskeys of the year, but it definitely was one of my favorite picks I've ever had. This one, the single barrel's not quite there. I will say that one that I had at New Orleans Bourbon Festival, absolutely worth the $80. I'd buy another one if I had the opportunity to. Delicious. This one doesn't quite do it for me, but I still say the cask strength, such a delicious pour. Maybe if you know a store that you absolutely trust their palate, me personally, Total Wine's not quite the store that I would choose to base my palate on. We have a really great store here in Southern California called K&L Wine and Spirits. They're also in Northern California. I trust their picks. I love their picks. I don't know if they've done a Still Austin pick. If they have, I'm gonna have to seek that out because I imagine they probably picked a good one, just like Nancy does. Uh, Speaking of Nancy, she said I should add that we already have barrels that are now 4 to 5 years old that are part of our 10+ year maturation program. Oh, okay. So we're thinking like some older releases. That's interesting. I'm curious to see how. I've definitely never had a Texas whiskey that's old. Is there anything special about what you guys are or what Still Austin is doing to them that kind of makes sure they don't go into that over oak territory being in Texas? Because I mean to me I would just be afraid like oh one hot year or one cold year could like turn those barrels. I'm really curious. Is it like a different kind of warehouse that has some temperature control? Love to hear. I mean, not that I'm meaning to interview you here, but you're here, so I actually really appreciate your insight. Oh, I read the wrong message first. Sorry. We're actually working on some bourbons that we plan to lay down for 10 to 12 years. We do this by using old French cognac maturation and production methodologies. Well, there's the answer to the question I just asked you, so I apologize. I should keep up with the chat a little bit better. That's awesome. Interesting. I will say I've been kind of exploring some older Armagnac here. Apparently in Southern California we get a ton of it. I have some bottles from like several years before I was born. I have one that's like 30 years older than me, which is crazy. I mean, I'm not that old. Like I'm 31, but I had one that's like from the 50s and 60s. So that's really cool. But yeah, that's interesting. I know that stuff is delicious at those older ages and it's not over oak. So I think that's you're onto something there. I mean, obviously. That's a good point. Michael says Iron Root doesn't get over oat either. I agree. Iron Root is actually my second favorite Texas distillery. Still Austin's always been my favorite. Just the culture, the brand, the bottles. Always felt like Still Austin was my favorite. But Iron Root, some of their blends and their finished whiskeys are delicious. So agree with you. Those two are actually my favorite Texas whiskeys. They do have some similarities, and I think that's why I like them so much. Total Wine pick. I know. New Orleans picks are great. Absolutely. Big barrels. Gotcha. Basically aged fortified water is a 250-year-old cognac technique of adding old cognac to water rather than water to spirit, and then aging it to about 20 to 25% ABV. Wow. Oh my gosh. I need to do my research. That's awesome. And yeah, I mean, there's so much science behind it and so much art behind it that I just can't even imagine. I mean, what a fantastic industry to be in, Nancy. By the way, if you I know you're taking a break right now, but if you ever want to come on the channel, I would love to interview you. Like my streams are an hour long, they're not nothing too crazy. But if you have like a brand or a project you're working on, please let me know. I'd love to have you on. I'd love to talk about it, even if it's a new brand. I just again I enjoy watching you on other people's streams, and I appreciate you stopping into the chat tonight. It's been a huge pleasure having you here. 1970 Armagnac. Nice. Yep. Yep. I probably bought the same one too, actually. Well, awesome. I think that about does it for tonight. Thank y'all so much for watching. This was so much fun trying new releases that I haven't had before. The rye just makes me crave the cask strength rye. The cask strength bourbon, my favorite of the night. But really, this bottle and bond series, I'm very curious to see where it goes. Love to try the different corn varieties. I'd love to try the rye version. There's so much still Austin that just makes me excited. So I'm gonna keep an eye out in my area. Michael, let me know when you're down there because I would be very interested in some distillery exclusives. Our selection is limited here in Southern California, but I would absolutely love to try more. So thank y'all all so much for watching. Like I said, I'm going to be gone for the next 2 weeks. Oh, wait, I have a giveaway to do. What am I doing? Y'all thought I was going to forget. Ha, that was all a joke, and I totally was planning to do this. Sorry. time for the Wheel of Whiskey. And Nancy said she would enjoy being on my show sometime. Well, listen, the invite is open. You know where to find me. I think we follow each other on Instagram. So, all right, someone's gonna win some samples of all the bottles we had tonight. Let's go and pull up the Wheel of Whiskey. Let me do a couple shuffles, and we're gonna see who is gonna win the Wheel of Whiskey. What do you know? Tony Bag of Donuts, who has sent me many samples, so he is well deserving of winning this tonight. Congratulations, Tony. I've not seen him. I know he's been traveling. I will make sure this gets in his hands. But thank y'all all so much for watching. Thank y'all for tuning into the replay, watching live, wherever you guys are doing. Make sure to come back here most Thursdays. I will be updating some photos from my trip over on Discord. If you're not yet on our Discord, go to bourbonbites.com, click the Discord link, join our community. It's so much fun. It's open to everyone. Patreon gets special access to our rooms, like our after party hangout, our monthly movie night, and our private tasting, which you can see the tiers on the website. But would love to have y'all be part of the community and continue drinking. All right, cheers, y'all. Nancy says good luck. Have a very safe trip to Europe, and now I'm off to eat my burrito. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. I actually ate right before the stream, but that sounds amazing. All right, cheers, y'all. I'll see y'all in a couple weeks.